Hello, good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching this. It's been a few days, weeks since I've been live, and I am so excited to come live today and talk about my favorite. I have so many favorite subjects, I have so many of them, but I wanted to talk about one that seems to come up a lot with people. And everybody's in this transitional stage right now in our lives. We're all in this space where we want change. We're embracing change. We're accepting change. Maybe for the first time in a long time, like we're open to change. For so long, everything has been so the same. It's been the same. We've been dealing with things out of our control, and it's one of those times in our lives now. Here we're in 2021 already. We're 3 months in, January, February, March, 4 months into the new year already, and it's flown so fast. And the reason why it's flown so fast for a lot of people because so many people have embraced change in their life. So many people are ready to do something epic, like epicness. So, as the veil is slowly being lifted, obviously there's still the noise of whatever, and whatever that noise is for you, whether it be media, whether it be family, whether it be career, whatever that is, there's still that noise. We'll always have that noise to deal with. But I want to talk about change, like how you reveal the true and best version of yourself. That's why, you can see I call myself the revealer, because I'd like to help people reveal like the really truth of what's happening in their life. What's the real truth of maybe why they're here. And, so many times people let things affect their lives in a way that's not the most advantageous. So I want to help people and guide people to help really decide what their truth is and help reveal that to them and help them make that shift or that transition into that new truth. And then more importantly, once you know what that truth is, to stay in that space. So good morning to everybody that's coming on. And so let's talk about my subject, the subject I love the most. It's change. I look back at my life and I go back and I remember all the changes that I've made in my life, like so many. And those that know me really well know that like every 7 years I go through like a major change. It's not like, oh my gosh, he did something with his hair. It's like, who is that guy? Like, what is he doing right now? Like he used to be this and now he's this. And so every 7 years, I shed my old skin, I shed my old body, I shed my old structure of knowing, and I take into my new 7 years all of the goodness and all the lessons I've learned into that new version, the best version of me. And so I want to talk about how we can elevate our lives and how we can embrace change in a positive way. And the first thing you need to realize is when you are down this path of changing, like, what's coming up for you? Are you changing because of somebody else? Are you changing because of a circumstance? Are you changing because, you're upset at your life? What is the real true reason why you're willing to go and make these changes and to transform or transcend or ascend to a different place, right? So a lot of people make changes because, it's the last straw. It's that final event, and they go, that's it, I've got to change. And that's a very powerful place to be. I've had many of those in my life, and I'm sure you have too, where you've just kind of like said, enough is enough. Like, I've got to change. I've got to change my health. I've got to change my well-being. I've got to change my mental state. I got to change something because this thing that's happening right now is not working. So that's a very positive thing when you get to the place where you're at that crossroads and you either go left again like you've always done, or you go, you know what, screw it, I'm going right. And you go right, and then you embrace whatever that newness is for you. So that's one way to make change. The other is maybe you're in a place where life is good. Life is, you're moving, things are great, but you're just kind of at that plateau. You're just kind of at a place where I call it kind of like the holding pattern, where you're just kind of like in that airplane. And I don't know if you guys have flown before. And so, you get ready to land at the airport, and the pilot comes on, and he says, hey, we have to circle around here for a little bit. The weather's bad. The traffic is such that we can't land right now. So we're just going to hang out and fly in circles until we're ready to land. And so if that's you, great. There's another opportunity for you to once you land the plane is to make those changes that you want, right? So maybe life is good. You're just kind of in a holding pattern and you just don't really know what's next for you. Like, maybe you've got good health, maybe you've got a good environment around you, maybe you've got, financial stability, emotional stability, but you're like me. It's like, okay, what else is next? Like, what else is next for me? Like, how can I elevate even more? Or you start asking the question, is this it? Is this it? Is this all there is? It's all these things, all these beautiful things I have in my life. Or if you don't have anything beautiful life because life is really difficult right now and you're going, God, is this it? Is this how my life is supposed to be? When you start asking, is this it? That's a good thing. The next thing you have to do is you take action upon that question. And that's where a lot of people kind of drop the ball or just kind of, oh, it's too hard. Like, I'm always going to be this way. And that's not the case. So what I'm going to help you to this morning is I'm going to help you, number one, recognize that change is inevitable. Change is needed. Change is part of life. And if you don't change, if you don't evolve, if you don't stretch yourself and see what's next or see what's around the corner, then this life is going to be, it's not going to be all those beautiful things that you're dreaming about. It's not going to be all those things that you see other people living. It's not going to be that. So I want you to embrace the change. I want you to embrace the change. Okay. So the first thing is you got to decide, okay, am I ready to make a shift? Am I ready to go and do something different? Am I ready? Do I have all the resources? Do I have everything that I need to start doing that? And the answer is yes, you do. You have the ability to make change right now, anytime you want, just like this. Just fast as you want. Okay. So once you recognize that, so then what do? You have to know, and here's where people get lost in this change thing, is I just need to change. I just need to change, and I don't know what they want to change. So when you're ready to make this shift, when you're ready to make this change and stretch yourself and go into potentially for many people is the unknown. I've changed so many times, like I embrace the unknown, like I'm excited about what's next for me without knowing what's next for me. Like that excites me. I feel like I'm Indiana Jones. I tell people, like, I feel like I'm Indiana Jones. I'm just discovering treasure. I'm just discovering new treasure all the time. That's what change is for me. A lot of people don't embrace change. I embrace change. So once you decide that you're asking the question, hey, is this it for me? Is this it for me? Then you got to go, okay, what is the change that I'm seeking? What is my heart's desire? What do I want to experience when I make this change? What do I want to experience when I do that? And once you make the change and you know what you want, then you got to write it down. Like I have a big old journal, you guys. I write all my stuff down, ideas that come to me, and I focus in on those changes that I desire in my life, those things that I want to come to fruition in my life. I don't know how they're going to happen, but I just know these are the things that I desire. And once I get to that place of desiring these things and wanting these things, and I write them down and I'm seeing it and I'm feeling them, I'm going, yes, I want better health. I want to lose that last 10 pounds, or I want to run a marathon. I want to get in the best shape of my life, or I want to make more money this year than I did last year. Or I want to be more available to my family. I want to be a better lover. I want to honor myself more. Like whatever that is, you got to write it down. You got to feel it. You got to think it. And then you got to see it, and you got to see these words on this paper. So you go, okay, this is what I like. Yes, I like that. I desire that. Yes, I want that. And you put yourself in that emotional state to actually start feeling that change happening, like right now, seeing that change happening right now. Like you all know, for those people that have maybe are in this diet, out of this diet, in this lifestyle, out of this lifestyle, you all know what 5 pounds looks like. You all know what it looks like to have a certain type of body type. You all know that. So all you got to do is just imagine and feel yourself in that state. So in order to do that, I'm going to get really spiritual and just a little metaphysical with you guys, but I'm going to explain it in a way that it makes sense. And I want it to make sense to you so that when you make the change, you have to understand what you have to do in order for that change to occur. To be able to recognize that change is needed. There are parts in your life that you have blind spots in right now. And until you see, until you feel, until you are more aware or more conscious, is the big word people are using is these days. When you're coming from a higher consciousness, that's the only way you can see that what you're doing right now is not the best version of you. Okay, so in our 3-dimensional world that we live in, which is everything, it's you looking at this camera, it's all the things that you do every day, it's your job, it's your career, it's your side hustle, it's your workouts that you do at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's your dogs that you feed at a certain time. It's like all the things that we have and that we see right now. Like right now, I'm in the middle of a storm here in Nebraska. So all these things that we see, that I see, my guitars, my musical instruments, like everything around me is all in my three-dimensional space, right? This is all the matter that's in my three-dimensional world. So every thought, every emotion, everything that I'm experiencing in this moment is this three-dimensional space that I live in, the space that you live in. You're watching this from a three-dimensional space, okay? So it's all the stuff that we have access to right now at this moment in our lives. Okay, so you created this. You created this three-dimensional world that you live in. You did. So all the things that you have, all the bills that you have, the toys that you have, the friends that you have, the relationships you have, the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, everything you have, you've created that. You are your own creator. It's not somebody else. It's not the government telling you exactly what that is. It's you have the ability to do all of this stuff, right? So with that being said, now, since I know that I am the creator and I can create everything in my 3D world, like if I wanted to in my 3D world, which I so desperately want to, if I wanted to throw away something, I could throw away something in my 3D world and never look at it again, never experience it again, right? So I have the ability to control everything in my 3D world. Now, are there outside circumstances that affect certain things in my 3D world? Absolutely. And I don't even want to go there right now, but you guys can just recall all of last year and what we're dealing with right now, how there are things that are outside of my control that I have to abide to, but I can still adjust in my 3D world. There are people that are out living life right now that if you watch them, they've embraced change and they're, out traveling and they're out on the beaches and they're out, going to church and they're, social distancing doesn't exist. They have changed and adapted that to their 3D-dimensional world. They don't see what's happening in this other space, right? So whatever you have in your 3D world is yours. So in order to make change, though, number one, you have to recognize that change is needed. And sometimes you have to do something different to recognize that is, but you have to say, okay, I know that I'm not unhappy. What do I got to do? So you have to actually get to another state of consciousness, another state, another frequency, in order to be able to look down and notice that there's things in your life that you need to change. So people do this, they call it higher consciousness. You have to go to like people say 4D or 5D or 6D and beyond, right? You have to get to another level of frequency, another vibration to realize what this looks like. So if we're just stuck in 3D land and change is not happening to us and everything's the same and it's status quo and all that, the only way that we can see what's changed, that we need to change, is we have to get to a different place. And we do that through different types of modalities, modalities that I teach, that I've been doing for 20, 30 years, longer. But whether it be meditation, whether it be walks with nature, quiet time, you have to unplug yourself from your three-dimensional space, the normal activities, in order to get to that place where you can consciously and subconsciously go to a higher place to really define what changes that you want in your life. Some people that are potentially overweight see themselves as fine. They see themselves as fine. It takes a doctor or somebody to tell them, hey, you know what? We need to put you on this medication to help you with this, for them to realize, oh, maybe that I'm not fine. And then in a state of like meditation or higher consciousness, when you're able to look down, let's say another level, and you look down at the current place that you're at, then you can recognize that something needs to happen. And then you can see that change that needs to happen. And then you can adapt that change in your three-dimensional space, in your three-dimensional world. But the only way that you can make those changes is you have to get to another place. And the best way to do that, you guys, the best way to do that is to shut off all the normalcy that's in this 3D place. So people that I work with, people that I coach, people that I've been, that are close to me know that I do meditations. I have this new breath called Your Perfect Breath that I do, that I've been gifted. I do all these different things to remove me from my three-dimensional space. Not that I don't love my three-dimensional space, but I want more sauciness. I want more juiciness. I want more of life. So I go to other places. Some people call them realms. Some people call them dimensions, whatever. It's another frequency. I go to a higher frequency so that I can put myself into a space that I can start to create, so that I can start to see, the change and start manifesting the changes that I want in my life. I can see and feel myself in a different consciousness looking a certain way, feeling a certain way, having energy. The energy I have now at almost 55 years old is crazy because it's better now than it's ever been. My health is better now than it's ever been. Why? Is because I'm always embracing the change and wanting to put myself in the best place possible with regards to my health. I want to have more vitality every single day. Like every day I want to be healthier and healthier and healthier. So in that, I have to go to a different place to see what that feels like, to embrace it, to make that change. I make the change in other conscious levels. And I know this is probably weird for some of you, but all the changes you've made in your life is you had to see them first. Like you had to see yourself making money. You had to feel yourself, with the perfect relationship and the perfect family. And, you had to go to a different place in order to see that. Because in our 3D world, we're like, oh my gosh, this is my life. This is what it is. This is what I'm about. This is what I have. These are my friends. And we have to remove ourselves from that place to get there. I hope this makes sense to you, because once you make this transition that you have to remove yourself from this three-dimensional space. That's why people go on vacations, you guys. Some people go on vacations because they just want to, get blasted and sit on the beach and drink margaritas and stuff like that, whatever. But when I go on vacation, like my vacation for me is a chance for me to unplug from everything that's familiar. Like it's very rare that I have my cell phone on me. I have everybody else take selfies and do all that. Like I unplug, I get out of the place I'm normally in to get to another level of consciousness so that I can start to make the changes or be aware of the things that I want to modify or enhance or enrich into my life. And I do this all the time. That's why when you guys see me go, to Joshua Tree, or you see me go, to traveling somewhere, like I always will go travel something. Yes, I'll do business, but at the same time, like I will make sure that there is a day for me of discovery. There's a day that I get to discover me and work on the things I'm looking to manifest, whether it be health, whether it be relationships, whether it be connections, whatever. And I just go to that place, and it's crazy. In that space, things manifest really quickly. So if you're in that space where things are just kind of dragging ass and you're just kind of moving through life, and it's like, things aren't happening fast enough. This is not doing, he's not doing that, and she's not doing that. My job is like this, and these people are like that. When you start doing that, you got to stop and recognize that change has to happen. It has to happen. Okay. And in order for it to happen, once it happens, you guys, the way it will happen is if you go to another place. Okay. So meditation is key. If you don't know how to meditate, I encourage you to join me on my guided meditations. I've been doing them every night during COVID. I've been doing a guided meditation. Now I'm doing what we call an integration, which is this new gift called Your Perfect Breath that I was gifted back in December. And I'm teaching that to people, and I'm helping people tap into a frequency, which is this love frequency to help. And love brings in whatever you need to feel, whatever needs to heal, whatever you need to feel, experience, like it will bring that in. And so I've been teaching that. It's every Monday through Friday. You should join me on that. If you're one of those people that go, well, Tony, I just can't meditate because my back gets sore and my mind won't shut off. I can assure you, you do this breath with me, and you will not be thinking about anything except love. That's it. Just love and connection with yourself. Okay. So there are things you can do. Journaling is also very, very important. If you have a thought, if you have a feeling, many times these feelings are coming from another consciousness. They're coming from another level, another frequency. So when you have this sign, a lot of people are, I see these numbers, 333, 1111, all 4444. I see all these numbers all the time. Hey, look, I just checked on you guys, there's a reason why this is happening. This is coming from another consciousness, and it's inviting you to stop what you're doing and become aware and get to that place. So if you have to shut your phone off, if you have to feel this need to walk outside, like this is a sign, and the universe is telling you that you need to embrace this sign and you need to unplug, because there might be something that you need to hear, experience, or feel at that moment. So if you're starting to see numbers, if you're starting to have signs or animals or your weird vibration about you, you're not sleeping at night, you're awake all the time, like these are signs, you guys, that something is happening, and you need to stop and embrace that. Don't just move through your day. Don't just keep plowing through your day. No, you got to stop. You guys, you can literally stop time. You can literally stop time. I do it all the time. When something happens, I go, whoa, stop, brakes, and I take it in. I might close my eyes. I might take my shoes off. I might go walk out in the grass, but something I'm going to connect with that's going to give me an answer for something. And this takes practice, you guys. It takes discipline, but I'm telling you, it is so worth it. So if you want change, you got to get to that higher place. And make sure you journal things. Like, it's so important. Like, people always told me, Tony, you got to journal, you got to journal, you got to journal, you got to journal, you got to journal. Well, guess what? I journal every single day. Every time I drop in and do, my integration or my meditations, like, I always have an intention. I do everything with an intention now. And when I have intention, magic happens. If you just do something just to do something, ain't nothing gonna happen. Okay, nothing's gonna happen. But if you drop in with an intention, like, I'm gonna go for a walk and I just want to connect with Earth, and whatever happens, happens with no expectation. It's beautiful. So even though I have an intention, I have no expectation with that intention. Some people go, well, I'm going to meditate. If I'm going to meditate, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to make my next $1 million. No, that's not how it happens. So we go in with the right intention to willing to see change, to embrace change. And in that, with no expectation, whatever presents itself, whatever shows up, that's what it is. And that's the beauty of life. It's never what we think it is. People always say, well, if I do this, then I'm going to get this. And the way the universe works is, if you put that much energy into that, you're going to be disappointed more times than not. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be more disappointed. And if you surrender in the change, if you surrender with your willingness just to embrace the change with no expectation, and allow the universe and all the forces that we cannot see to show up and to help you, wow, it's more grandiose than you thought it was going to be. You thought you had to do X, Y, Z to get to here. Well, guess what? Maybe all you do is X, and all of a sudden you see everything unveiled in front of you because you had no expectation. So you make this change, you make these things to get to a different level of awareness is what you have to do to make these changes. You have to become to a different level of awareness, or different vibration, or different frequency, or different consciousness, or different level, whatever you want to call it, whatever mainstream is calling it. I just call it a different level of awareness. You have to level up in order to look down and go, these are the changes I need to make. That's it. And then as you do, the cool thing is, as you keep making the changes, you start to elevate your life. So your 3D world is here. You make the changes. All of a sudden you start to feel better. You make more money. You have better health. You have better friends. Now you're here. And then you go to, again, to create more awareness, make more change, higher consciousness. Then now your 3D world gets elevated. Now you're here. And all you do is you go through life and you just elevate your 3D world. That's it. And you do that from a higher consciousness. And you do that by doing these disciplinary things, like knowing that you want to make change, knowing that these are things I want to change. These are things I desire to change. These are things I deserve change. And you start writing them down, and you start seeing yourself in that space. And you only can see yourself in that space from a higher consciousness. That's it. And you have to tap into your heart, which is a whole new level, that frequency that's in the heart. And that's something that I teach as well. So I wanted to share this with you because I know a lot of people right now are in this beautiful transition in their life where they're embracing change. They're embracing the newness. They're embracing what I call all the juiciness that life is throwing at them right now. And it's very important right now that you develop the skills and the foundation and the understanding of how to keep elevating your life so that you don't skyrocket forward. There's so many people that, find this new thing and they skyrocket forward, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out, and now they're worse off than they were before. And it's because they didn't have the foundation. What I teach people is this foundation, this brick by brick by brick foundation that's beautiful, that's strong and powerful, so that when you have a bad day at the office, when you don't have the change happening as fast as you are wanting it to, because you're pushing it and you're grinding and you're hustling, you're doing all these things that don't make any sense anymore. We don't have to do that anymore, you guys. We can just allow and embrace the change, and it will happen. So if you're doing all of that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But if you're surrendering to the process, making the change that are higher conscious, feeling it, seeing it, allowing the universe to bring you these gifts, allowing it to show you all these beautiful things, and you just receive them without the forcing and the clawing, the grinding and the hustling and all that, you guys, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you need help and guidance with that, I'd be more than happy to share it with you. You guys can just send me a message through one of these media outlets that this thing is being broadcast to, and just hit me up and say, hey, I want more information. Also, I'm very, very excited. My wife and I have put together a retreat unlike anything else. We don't call it a retreat, but for people that are not on the conscious level, it's an experience. We're creating an experience, and we're doing them in my house here in the Midwest in Nebraska. And it's a 3D immersion of love into yourself, of all the things that I know. There's technologies that we have available. A lot of people are not even aware of yet that I'm using in our experience. And it's the quantum activation experience. And we're going to bring in, it's going to be the quasar activation experience. We're going to bring in this quasar frequency, which is this powerful, bright, light of love frequency that comes in. We're going to heal you people. We're going to heal people. We're going to heal their thinking. We're going to heal their hearts. We're going to heal their emotions, their traumas, their health, their physical being. We're going to do that at my place here in Nebraska. So if you're interested in that, you guys, it's a very intimate setting. You're going to have to get here. I'll talk to you all about it. But anyway, it's one of those things. It's my life's work. It's my wife and I together doing what we love in our passion zone, which is truly transforming and activating people's lives. So change is inevitable. No more fighting it. Embrace it, accept it, love it, honor it. Honor the change that wants to happen within you at the highest level. And when you do, all you got to do is you just got to get to another place, another frequency, another vibration, another level of consciousness to be able to see and feel what that feels like. And you take all that juiciness and you bring it down to your 3D world, and your change happens that fast. All right. You guys with me? Again, if you have any questions, hit me up. But I wanted to come on today because change is happening all around you. And if you're not changing, if you're not growing and learning, you're dying. And if you're not thriving right now, shame on you. There's so much abundance everywhere for everybody. So love yourself, honor yourself at the highest level, you guys. Embrace the change. And if you need help, if you need a guide, if you need somebody to reveal that to you, I got you. I got you. Take care. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. You are a beautiful human being, and you know it. You know it, and I know it. No more fighting it. Embrace it and embrace change. Bye, everybody.